Hello everyone. We are going to talk about portraiture and its significance in art today. A portrait is an artistic representation of a person capturing the physical features, the personality and the mood of the person. A portrait could be a painting, drawing, print, photograph or sculpture. The word portraiture is derived from the Latin word portrahere, which means to drag out or to reveal. It came into common usage from 16th century onwards in Europe. The earliest available portraits come from Roman-ruled Egypt from a site called Fayum. They are funerary portraits. They were painted on wooden panels which covered the mummified bodies of the dead. These portraits show remarkable realism. For example, in the slide here, one can see that the youth to the left has one eye smaller than the other, possibly due to a surgical cut. These portraits were painted in a technique called encaustic or another technique called tempera. Portrait statues also come from the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia as well as Egypt. To our left, we have the statue of Gudea, the governor of Lagash, who is shown as an able administrator and a devotee of God. To our right, we have limestone sculptures of King Rahotep and Nofret from the Old Kingdom in Egypt. These portrait sculptures are highly formalized and have been an important part of the ancient civilizations. The art of portraiture evolved greatly in the Roman period. One comes across portrait sculptures both in bronze and marble. The portrait sculpture of the banker Caecilius was found in the volcano-ravaged ancient site of Pompeii. The facial features of the banker, the creases of the forehead, the warts on his cheeks, and other details have been worked out very carefully. Portraits of emperors also exist in the Roman times. For example, this majestic statue of Emperor Augustus in marble and the equestrian statue of Marcus Aurelius, another emperor, in bronze. These sculptures show the power and the authority of the leaders. Moving on to the Renaissance, one comes across a large number of significant portraits painted in this time. The portrait of the Duke and Duchess of Urbino was painted by the Florentine painter Piero della Francesca. Piero della Francesca's interest in anatomy, perspective, and modeling and the use of light and shade is very evident in this double portrait where the Duke and the Duchess face each other. Details of the face, the costumes, and even the background, the landscape in the background, have been worked very carefully. The Duke of Urbino was a man of great taste and learning, and this is reflected in this double portrait, which was modeled after ancient Roman coins. The most celebrated portrait in art is Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, now housed in the Louvre Museum in Paris. Leonardo painted this portrait sometime around 1503. Mona Lisa, or La Gioconda, was the wife of a rich Florentine merchant. And true to his genius, Leonardo has introduced many new features in this portrait. He has used the three-quarters view where the face of the sitter, her gown as well as the hands are visible. The understanding of perspective, anatomy, chiaroscuro or light and shade is very obvious in this portrait. So is the use of fumato, a kind of a technique where Leonardo laid down layer upon layer of paints, thin translucent paints, so that it created a mysterious effect. The background is very important. The landscape in the background shows a grotto with different kinds of plants. And Leonardo used actual sketches and drawings which he did in his lifetime to paint this kind of different landscape here. The slide here shows two self-portraits. The one to the left is believed by most scholars to be the self-portrait of Leonardo da Vinci, which was done in red chalk on paper when the artist was about 60 years of age. The one to the right is a self-portrait of another Renaissance artist, Raphael. Moving on to Venice, one comes across a large number of extraordinary portraits painted by the Venetian master Titian. This portrait of Pope Paul III and his grandson is one such work. Pope Paul III was not a religious person and was given to avarice and nepotism. This particular portrait is notable for its richness of coloring and play of textures. It is also noteworthy for the kind of complex, dynamic relationship which the three figures share. Another important painter of Renaissance was the German artist Albrecht Dürer. Dürer's self-portrait can be seen to the left, while the artist's mother can be seen to the right. Dürer's self-portrait, which is in the frontal pose, resembles a great deal the religious works of Christ of those days. It is painted in dark tones and the artist's hands rest on his chest. Dürer's mother, who is represented on the right in a drawing, is another example of the remarkable observation of the artist. The portrait shows her as a thin, emaciated old woman and was done just 2 months prior to her death. Portraiture reached a high level of realism in the Netherlands, as is obvious from this portrait called the Arnolfini portrait, painted by the celebrated Flemish master Jan van Eyck. It is done in oils on an oak panel and shows the marriage of Arnolfini and his wife. Arnolfini and his spouse stand full length in a rich interior setting, which is suggested by a large number of elements such as the chandelier, the finely woven rug, and the fur-trimmed robes of the couple. There are many other elements which add a lot of interest in this work. For example, there is a convex mirror in the background, a rosary on the wall next to it, the figure of Margaret, Saint Margaret, on the bed, slippers in front, a dog also in the front of the couple, and so on. So this particular portrait is not just a mere observation of an interior, but has many layers of meaning. The various symbols which can be seen here represent fertility, fidelity, domesticity, and so on. A very interesting feature in this painting is the mirror in the background. Arnolfini and his wife are seen there from the back, from behind. There are 2 more figures in the mirror. Who were they, we ask? Were they witnesses to the marriage? But we don't really have an answer. The convention of using the mirror can be seen again in the works of the Spanish painter Velázquez, where he has used the mirror to show illusion in his large painting called La Menina. A portrait was not a mere record of the sitter. It shows the power, the position, the wealth, the virtue, the beauty, learning, and other qualities of its sitter as well.